Hey, spiritual superstars. So, all my women out there, my divine feminine women, okay? If you identify as divine feminine, this message really is for you. Divine masculine out there, listen up too. And give your input. I'm Nicole Honore V, CEO and founder of Spiritual Guidance Academy, where we help you master your spiritual gifts, learn all about spiritual guidance, and how to hear from the Most High. So this video is my take, my experience on manifesting your twin flame connection coming from a divine feminine standpoint, okay? So subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and hit the little bell so you'll be notified when I come back over with videos just like this, okay? So come on in, type in your pound or your hashtag and your 401s, and let's get started. So when you're manifesting that love, the very first thing that you have to keep in mind is, number one, you can't share it with everybody. Number two, you have to be careful about what you believe. Number three, you're gonna have to do away with what you've been taught about love from another human being. Because twin flame love is totally different from human love, physical love. So we can connect with people on a physical level, but that does not mean that we're spiritually yoked. It doesn't mean that we're meant to be together. It means we've connected out of lust, out of desperation, out of loneliness, out of, I like this person, I like how they look, ego-driven, physical, need-driven energy. And that's all human. Twin flame energy is spiritual in every way. It is not physical first. It is spiritual. So twin flame energy is the highest octave of your soulmate connection that is romantic. I don't know of a twin flame connection that's not romantic. And I do know soulmate connections that are platonic. So when you're manifesting your twin flame connection, it is romantic and it is the highest octave of your romantic relationships. So all that being said, you really want to take into consideration what's really going on. Let's say that you have manifested that connection and you're starting to question, is this real? What's really going on? Is this really happening? Right? You want to look at who else is around you, who's feeding you, right? Who is giving you vibes that might be negative. You got to really look at that. So ladies, you've heard me say this before. Be careful about who you share your business with, right? Be careful about who you listen to, and be careful about what you do. So you have to know what your standards are, your values, your requirements in relationship, right? But you also have to know exactly what it is you want. Remember, we manifest this connection in this third dimension that we call life. And you want to really pay attention to what's underneath the human feelings that you're feeling, the emotions that you're feeling, okay? So I'm gearing this towards divine feminine because we tend to move with emotion. We tend to take action based on what we're feeling. And what I teach in our programs and in our sessions, our private sessions, whether it's a reading or coaching, is our I feel statements. And I've been teaching that for several years now. And you want to really understand what you're feeling, because when you are moving by your feelings, you tend to forget logic. And when we manifest our twin flame connection, it is happening in the physical realm we call life, which is logic driven. Okay, you still with me? Hit the thumbs up button if you're still with me. Hey, Miss Woods. Hey, Bimmer Babe. All right. See, the connections that are made through our family, I absolutely love that. I love it. So when you are manifesting your love in this third dimension, you're going to bring other people into it, right? Because you've got connections that are physical. You've got relationships. You've got family. You got circumstances. However, boundaries are super important. So just remember that I've got to know what my boundaries are, and I've got to know what my requirements in relationship is, and I've got to know what my value is, and I've got to know what my standards are, right? What do I appreciate? What do I really want out of this relationship and from this other person, and what do I want to give? So here's the other part of that. Ladies, you've got to know what you bring to the table. What is it? What do you bring to the table? So remember what I talked about. Twin flame love is not physical love first. So when you're bringing something that's physical to the table, that's not what I'm talking about. You've got to be able to bring something else that's not physical. Physical, I sex. Okay, I could say it's not going to be sex. Physical, it's not going to be that. That's not what you bring to the table. What you bring to the table is spiritual. So what is that? I want you to put that in the comment section. What do you bring to your twin flame connection that is not physical and it is spiritual? What kind of things can you think of? What are you seeing in your mind's eye right now? Let's get that conversation going. Okay? Let's get the conversation going. Look at Miss Woods. Look at God. Just had what you bring to the table convo this morning. Absolutely. So what did you come up with, Miss Woods, that you bring to the table? Because it's super important. We both have to bring things to the table, right? Spiritual superstars. So, and Rally is like, Nicole, that soul love hit different. I was not ready when we had our coaching session. Okay? I'm telling y'all better get with me. If you want that connection to happen, we got to talk seriously. We going to put it all out on the table, and I want you to get that connection. We want you to make it happen. And too many times we come across people that are just giving up because they're misguided. You just don't know. And what you don't know can hurt you when you're trying to manifest your twin flame connection. And then it could snowball into 5 years later, 10 years later. And then that snowballs into, well, I just don't even need to be in a relationship. And then you're just lying to yourself, and you're just suffering in silence, being envious of other people that you're seeing on social media and in person look so happy, and you really want that. And then you're putting out negative energy. So to avoid all of that, just know how to do it and X out the mistakes that I made and do it the way that I would have done it had I known better, So that's what I'm trying to share in this video. So some of the ways that you can definitely bring something spiritual to the table, very simple, is praying for your partner. Praying for that partner before you even manifest it. Praying for your twin flame before they even come into your aura, in your space. Praying for them to have a great life with or without you. Praying for their health. Praying for their clarity in their goals. Because remember, we're bringing something to the table for it to be like this, right? So what are you bringing to the table that's spiritual? Has nothing to do with sex. Your spiritual connection, your twin flame connection is going to want to be with you before you even have sex. Before that is not even an option. It's not even a requirement, okay? Because you're feeling them and they're feeling you on a spiritual level. And that's how you're connecting. And so the physical is the icing on the cake. So you've got to know what you bring to the table, because when you do converge and you make a connection, you've got to know how to keep it going. You've got to know really how did we connect in the first place? So definitely praying for that other person. And so let's read some of the responses. We keep communication, HOT, honest, open, and transparent. Yes and yes, absolutely. It's all about glorying God, pursuing your purpose. Get ready to be humbled. Get ready. Absolutely. So keeping it real. And that acronym HOT, I love that, because keeping it transparent is vulnerability. Honesty, vulnerability. Open, vulnerability. So let's say the other person is not. Ladies, okay, let's say that your divine masculine is not. And I'm just speaking on heterosexual right now. Let's say that your divine masculine is glorifying, right? Rally, thank you for correcting that. Glorifying God. So let's say that your divine masculine is in the embodiment of a man. You got to look at the life that he's living, and you've got to look at the responsibilities he has, and what are his goals? What are his aspirations? So assume that he has goals and aspirations outside of you, right? And so when he's not responding to you the way that you want to, because again, we tend to go by emotions and feelings. You're not freaking out because he pulled back. You know what to do when he pulls back. And if you don't, that's what we teach. So get on over and join our membership, because our next get together is, I think, February 1st. It's in a couple of days. And it's $1.99 for our membership. But we're meeting in a private Zoom room. And we're going to talk about manifesting our hopes, wishes, and dreams, because that's the new moon energy. And we're going to use it for sure. And so when that happens, you got to be reminded when you're manifesting your twin flame connection that you're doing it in this third dimension, the physical realm, yes. And you also have to know those 3 things we talked about earlier. And you have to know that he has aspirations and goals. And you have to take that into consideration with what you're bringing to the table. So what's another thing that you can bring to the table that's not physical? We talked about open, honest conversation. So you're being vulnerable. Another thing that was talked about in the chat was on their relationship life. And she said she's a single mom, and her boyfriend she said he wanted to go back to school. And so she said, okay, great. So she started planning how he could do that and how he could make that happen. Okay, well, let's plan that out and let's get this together. And then he decided he didn't want to do that. So she felt like men really it was a couple other things that she felt like men just really want you for your money. So here's the first thing that was a mistake, and I had to learn this too. I used to do the same thing, is divine feminine. When it comes to your twin flame or even your soulmate, whenever it is a connection that's romantic, you do not have to plan his life out for him. He gets to do that for himself. You get to plan out your life, and if you two decide to come together like this, then that's great. But when you're trying to plan his steps out for him, that's out of fear. That's just fear-based energy. And that just says, I don't want to lose you, so I'm going to try to make sure this happens. And now you're lifting, you're constructing the house, you are doing all the heavy work, all the heavy lifting, all the hard work, you're staying up, sun up to sundown. You're doing it all. You're planning, you're mapping out everything that you guys are going to supposed to fit in, and you're ushering him through that door of what you're building. Does that make sense? Hit the thumbs up button if that makes sense to you, if you understand what I'm saying. So women, what we tend to do when we move by our emotions and our feelings is we do all the work. And then we end up complaining that he's not doing anything. And then we end up saying, okay, now we really have to do it. If I don't do it, it's not going to happen. Well, that tells us something. If we have to do it, it's not going to happen, means maybe it wasn't meant to be, or it's out of divine timing. Maybe you have to get yourself together. So the other part of that is when you are a divine feminine, don't forget to work on you. You bring self-development to the table. You bring confidence. You bring mastering your emotions to the table. Okay? You bring all of that to the table. You bring your dreams, your pursuits. Are you in business for yourself? What are you doing with your job? What are your aspirations? Okay? What are your wins? What do you like to do? So get to know that about yourself. And when you do manifest that twin flame connection and you see that side of it that is of the third dimension, you can know exactly how to move forward. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, doesn't mean it's going to be super difficult, but it allows you to keep your power. And that's really important because on the other side of that is it's really attractive. And it's not the same as, well, I'm just, I just don't want to, I don't want anyone to control me, or I don't want to, I don't want him to get away with anything, or I don't want to be a pushover. I don't want to be someone he takes advantage of or anything like that. It's empowerment. And it gives you the ability to walk away when you realize, okay, wait a minute. These things are not adding up. Okay? Right. Look at Miss Woods. Look what she just put. It's okay to not be available. A good friend of mine said that. I asked him, well, what happened with so-and-so? And he was like, every time I called, she was available. It was like he would text, right back response. No matter what was going on, she responded. He literally got turned off from that. It was way too much pressure coming at him. Don't you have anything else that you're working on, that you're doing? It's okay to allow him to miss you. It's not playing a game. So if you really don't have anything going on, get something going on. That means get your life, right? Get your life. You have a life to live that's not his. Because what happens, the other side of it, is we tend to want to live his life for him. So just remember that. Okay, divine feminine out there, my ladies? Because when it happens, it's going to happen in the third dimension. And that's the dimension that we call life. And that's the dimension that carries all the responsibilities. It's the weight on your shoulders, right? But it's the one life that we get to live, and we get to make the most of it. So I hope that this has helped you. Thumbs up if this has helped you. Subscribe so you can come on back for more spiritual guidance. Definitely hit that bell, the little notification bell, so you'll know when I'm over here doing a live. And get on over to spiritualguidanceacademy.com and join our discussions and get a collective response. You know, for $1.99 every month, that's what you're getting. And if you're ready to give value, if you are a coach, if you are in spiritual industry or health and wellness, if you're any kind of health and wellness, that's emotional, financial, physical, occupational, intellectual, mental, the whole 9 yards, then we definitely want to partner up with you. So if you're open to partnering up with Spiritual Guidance Academy, then text that number down below and you and I will have a nice little conversation about it. All right. So thank you so much. All right. You all have a beautifully blessed day. And I look forward to talking to you very, very soon. Comment down below and share your opinion about our discussion today. Love y'all.